Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. This is a support group requested video, and I do run a support group over on Facebook for those of you who do not know, and that support group is for survivors of narcissistic abuse. If you're interested in that, you can check the description below to join that support group. There's a link, but inbox me and let me know that you're a survivor, because I do get a lot of random requests, guys, and I'm really filtering this. I want to make sure that only survivors are on that support group. All right. With that being said, I get a lot of requests for videos, but when I do find that it's one that I do think the collective could benefit from hearing, I definitely have no problem obliging that, guys. And also, this is a topic that I have touched on and here and there in my videos, but, it never hurts to reiterate these things. And it just seems like very prevalent, during the healing process for survivors. So let's go ahead and jump into it. This survivor says, "This is a reoccurring issue. My head knows he is a demon, and he has only brought craziness into my life. But my mind plays tricks on me and thinks he has moved on and is happy, while I'm over here mourning and grieving and definitely putting in the work and working on me. But this is a stumbling block for me. Can you please do a video? Your videos seem to reassure me and help keep me going." All right. So we've all been here. We know how the narcissist leaves us to pick up the pieces and they're just on to the next. Okay. But sometimes we're so up close on a picture that we're not seeing the bigger picture. And that takes for us to take several steps back so that we're looking at all the variables here, so that we're not just looking at one angle or one aspect of the situation. Now, this reoccurring issue sounds like this survivor is trying to convince herself. She starts feeling one way, then she's trying to convince herself out of it. And this is the push and pull. This is the tug of war that we have internally with our own internal turmoil as we progress in a healing process. The narcissist is very image focused. So chances are she's on his social media. So she's seeing these things with her three-dimensional eyes, right? But our emotional intelligence does show us that narcissists, they want to be a magician. They want to create an illusion for you. They want you to think everything is all good. They want to plant those seeds and doubts. They hope that you're watching and looking. It could be friends or third parties or flying monkeys passing messages back to her, or just the perception that she's giving herself. Oh, this person is able to be in a relationship right after this. Oh, they rebound into something, or somebody else seems to want them. So, she's taken that perception and having the wrong way of viewing that. Now, actually, let's just go ahead and break that down. The thought that he's moved on and is happy. Let's just talk about that aspect of things. Chances are the narcissist hasn't moved on. Okay. Just because they've devalued and discarded you in this instance doesn't mean that they've moved on. Chances are, in the narcissist's mind anyway, they put you on a bookshelf. Okay. We think, oh, they broke up with us. That's it. And then we're like blindsided or super shocked and surprised when they come back for a Hoover. Because I'll say this again, when the narcissist is devaluing and discarding one person, they're love bombing another. So that ties into the next aspect, that the person has moved on and happy. All right. So what she's probably experiencing when we hop into our logic is this narcissist love bombing someone else. So yeah, if you're watching from the outside looking in of someone love bombing someone else, it seems like they're just on cloud nine. Everybody's all lovey-dovey and everything just seems to be perfect, right? But this is a love bomb. So if it's a love bomb, we know that this isn't sincere. We know that the narcissist is wearing a mask, and we know that the narcissist is going to eventually progress down the levels of the cycle of abuse, which is what the devalue and the discard. All right. So don't mistaking a front row seat, and maybe you're giving yourself that front row seat. Okay. A lot of survivors fall into that pitfall of continuously looking at the narcissist social media and, from a distance trying to keep an eye on them because we want to see them get their karma, when we want to see them down and out. And trust me, it's the last thing that they want you to see per se, unless they're playing on your emotions and your empathy to feel bad for them when they want to hoover you again. Then they want you to see that in hopes that you're going to feel bad and feel sorry for them. And then maybe you still have a soft spot, or, that trauma bond gets re-triggered and bam, they get another chance. Okay. So yeah, I don't want you to confuse that love bomb with happiness. All right. And then she says, while I'm over here mourning and grieving, yes, and definitely putting in the work. These are actually good, healthy things and working on me. Bam. That's everything that you should be doing right now. Yeah, the grieving process does have 5 stages. And it sounds like, you said you're definitely putting in the work and working on yourself. These are actually positive things, not anything to put your head down, but, going through that purge because you're not running from yourself like the narcissist. You are facing your flaws. You're not only, you're grieving, wow, I thought this was the one and it wasn't, or wow, I thought this person was this, but they're that. You're grieving that. And that means you're willing right now. You're stepping out of resistance. You're stepping into acceptance, right? And you're acknowledging the reality of the situation and the parts that the narcissist played and the parts that you played. These are actually wonderful things. It's certainly not anything for you to be holding your head down, but that purge that we go through as we're separating ourselves from our previous existence, as far as, we're evolving and elevating ourselves and our consciousness, our awareness is growing and we're seeing like, whoa, like everything is clear to you in a way that it never has been before. You can see all the toxicity and, that might make you feel down for a moment. Just like when you realize, let's say I was in a middle America suburban somewhere. Some people argue there's no middle class anymore, but let's just run with that. We're in middle class suburban somewhere. And then the day that we realize, oh, the world is bigger than my little suburb here. There's a child over here in a third world country that doesn't have clean water and they're actually going to die of thirst today. And you start realizing all these things are going on outside of your location, and everyone's not extended the good school district that your home zip code happens to be in. Everyone doesn't have food and water and all these things. And it's like, well, it's overwhelming, and that can make you feel sad. And it's the same thing after narcissistic abuse. There's always more than what met the eyes. And you realize so much more is going on here. And you're mourning and grieving these levels of realities here. All right. So this is actually a good thing for you. Let's continue here. And this has been a stumbling block for me. All right. So let's just say here that it sounds like this survivor is still on some levels. I'm going to just jump on a limb to say that maybe just a little bit too externally focused as well, because you're feeling upset over the perception that this person has moved on and is happy. Well, first of all, the fact that the narcissist has moved on, be happy about that, okay? And that in itself could point to perhaps some levels of rejection and abandonment issues going on there, okay? And then that the person is actually happy. And that will bother you because, this person offended you. You don't want them to feel happy. You want them to feel a punishment. You want them to feel a suffering. And perhaps because you're not in your happiness, it's hard for other people to be happy for people when they're not happy. But, in this case, this other person is not just some random stranger. It's someone that was highly deceptive, highly disrespectful, highly manipulative, and highly toxic in your life. So, you don't want to feel that perception of them just skipping on. But, we have to think about how narcissists move. They're in their ignorance, and they stay in denial and disillusion here. So I can promise you that they're not happy. Happiness is not what they are. What they are is the other stuff that I just said. Denial. They're in denial. They're in disillusion. They're wearing a mask. They're lying even to themselves. Okay. So, and moving on, that is what they're not doing either. If we really look at the bigger picture, they're just completing cycles. They're perpetuating cycles of abuse with different names and faces, but it's really the same reenactment over and over. So they're technically not moving on. You're the one that's actually moving on. You're the one that's doing that, not the narcissist. They may be removed from you physically, but now we're just trying to cleanse their essence out of you. So, if you are looking at their social media, I will highly recommend that you begin to, fill the voids with something else, find another behavior. You know what? When I want to go look back at this, I need to find something else to do because it's not helping you right now. It's not helping you right now. You're not far enough healed because there will come a certain part in the healing process where you would actually be able to look at this narcissist social media and not be fazed by anything. You could see that they got married yesterday. You'd be like, whew, God bless her. Better her than me. You're going to feel something like that instead of, oh my gosh, this person gets to be married and happy. Oh, they found their soulmate. You're going to be in reality of what they are and what they're doing and how they move. Okay. So, I don't want you to psych yourself out, and I definitely don't want you to minimize and see things flip side up. I mean, you're doing the work. You're working on yourself. You're going through the grieving process. You're actually doing the right things here. All right. So I don't want you to sabotage yourself by putting all these negative stigmatisms, by having the wrong perception. And, I don't want that to create a snowball effect where you start, backsliding and, slipping into a depression or anything negative that's going to stunt you or mess up the momentum that you're actually building and all the hard work that you're doing so far. Okay. So, time is usually a factor in this. And if you really are actively putting in that work and working on yourself and you're doing it in ways that are actually beneficial to you, this is going to lower and minimize over time. Okay. But your mind is not playing tricks on you per se. We just have to work on our perceptions. All right. We just have to have the right perceptions. And that's not about lying to yourself or anything like that. But you have to have the right perceptions because sometimes the story that we tell ourselves is not even true. We think it's true, but it can be further from the truth. Okay. So, emotions play into this as well. And I'm sure that you're working on still detaching emotionally from this narcissist. So, you need to do a lot more of that as well. So, and then when you feel, your emotions overcoming you in a situation and controlling your perceptions, hopefully you'll be able to intercept it with your logic. Okay. So I hope that this, is helping you with this reoccurring issue because it's a reoccurring mindset that you're having that's taking you back to that where that he's bad for you, but you're perceiving that, he's moving on untouched. He's just moving on and he's happy. And, these aren't the things that's going on. You're falling for their illusions. You're falling for the perceptions of whatever they're presenting, like I said, in their social media or what they're telling other people. Okay. You just continue to do the work, and it may seem like, they're having it easier right now while you're you're just going through this purge because you are, but really you're going to definitely have the last laugh here. Okay. Cause you're doing what they're too cowardly to do, and it's going to pay off for you. All right. And if you're having a hard time with this, I definitely do offer one-on-one coaching. And that goes for anyone that's stunted in the healing process of narcissistic abuse. You can go to my website, BahiyyahConversations.com, and find a package that works for you. I start off with half-an-hour sessions, although I don't really recommend those, especially if it's your first session with me. The half an hour goes by very, very quickly. All right. Those are for like quick questions or nothing that's too heavy. All right. Minimally start with a 1 hour session. And then given that 9 out of 10 survivors that come to me get multiple sessions, I highly recommend looking at those bundles where you can buy chunks of hours of coaching with me and use them as you need. Sometimes a survivor might use 2 to 3 hours for the first session of that. So, that's really cool. And that's totally doable as long as my schedule permits. All right. But again, I do have that support group over on Facebook for survivors of narcissistic abuse. Again, you can check out my website to book your one-on-one. I do voice calls, FaceTimes, and email coaching, all type of packages you can take advantage of. You can also see my other products on there as well. I've written 4 books to help survivors and people who've been in toxic relationships, people who are doing the self-work and the shadow work on themselves. All right. I also have No Narc merchandise that you can take a look at. Cute hats and t-shirts, bumper stickers, coffee mugs, mouse pads, and little things that you can have. Make your fashion against narcissistic abuse. And, have fun with your fashion statements. All right. Thank you guys for all the love and support that you're showing the channel. Make sure that you hit that like button and that you've hit the bell so that you're notified when I upload videos, which is quite frequently. All right. It definitely gets better. But what do I say at the end of all of my videos? Never give up on yourself. Continue to do the work. And until next time, please take care.